Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, I'm putting together my project life spread for the week of October 16th through October 22nd, 2023, and I am working with the Daily Quarterly Scrapbook Kit from Ali Edwards. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so I'm super excited about this one because I'm going to be working with the Daily Quarterly Scrapbook Kit from Ali Edwards. And you guys, I am obsessed with this kit. I think this is like my favorite quarterly kit that has ever come out. So I'm not going to be doing a project planning with this kit like I typically do, partially because I don't know that this one is a great kit for project planning because it is so generic. It is so perfect for things like using it in your week in life album, using it in your project life album, using it in daily stories. And I love it as a supplement rather than a standalone. You could for sure do standalone projects with it, but I think personally, I'm not going to use it that way. So it comes with this large number set, which I'm not planning on using. It comes with these fun labels. I could see using those maybe. It comes with these vellum die cuts, which I'm gonna open. So we've got telling the stories of today, memories this week, I can do this, quality over quantity, love this story, today's story, magic happens here, my favorite part in embracing this moment. So I'm not entirely sure, and I have a second one of those, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna use those or not because they are kind of large. There's also these super fun words. These are just like the coded cardstock, and they're just like very simple sentiments that work on like most projects. So I might use some of those. There's these 4x4 cards, which you could definitely cut these down to 3x4 very easily. I'm not planning on using them in this spread, but these are perfect for either a week in the life project or a project life spread, because this gives you a spot for each day of the week and then a bonus one. So I might save these for another project life spread. You guys, when I look at this kit, there's like enough things to do like 30 project life spreads. I could just use this kit for like the full year as my jumping off point. Maybe that's a little excessive, but there's a lot. So here's a pattern paper. I'm gonna put the pattern papers that I might use over here. This one is very pretty. This one would be great to cut these out. I'm not gonna use it for this spread, but again, it would work really well. Here's a nice pattern, which also goes well with the fall colors. This one, I think I'm gonna keep this as a 6x8 and put it in my mini-me album, but you could 100% cut these out, and I believe they would fit on a 4x6 card, so you could use each strip on a 4x6 photo. That would be super fun. And then cut the this week out and make your title card. This one's mugs. I have a mug collection. I might do a specific story about that with that paper. And then these ones are also so fun. You could cut these out or put them as standalone pages, which I will probably do. And put those to the side. Okay, you guys, so the 12x12 papers, this is the one that I'm using as my jumping off point for this spread. So I'm gonna cut each of these speech bubbles out and tell a story about each day in some of these pockets. You can see I'm doing all 3x4 pockets because these fit perfectly in those. So I'm putting that there. These again would make a great project life spread. You could either cut out the circles or the 4x4 squares. Put that aside. I am obsessed with this paper, you guys. I love this so much. I don't think I want to cut it for a 3x4. I might want to save this for a week in the life because it is just so beautiful. I don't know yet. There's this nice one to cut up. I could see using this one. I'm gonna put that up here. This one also would make a good background. And then there's this paper. You guys, I am obsessed with this paper too. I'm gonna punch all of these out. And then you have the days of the week. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets. Each one of those could be its own project life spread jumping off point. Or you could pair it where you put these on all of your photos paired with a journaling thing, which I don't think I have photos for that this week, but I could see doing that, especially if I was doing 12 by 12 again, because you could put these all across the 3 by 4s and these on 4 by 6 photos. I don't know that these will fit as well on a 3 by 4 photo because the size, like they'll take up a lot of it, but I could see that working. Okay, so I don't yet have a title card idea, but I'm just gonna kind of go through and lay out what I've got here so far before I start kind of cutting things out. So this week was super like fall and there wasn't a ton that happened, but there were a few like little stories, some work stuff, stitching. I've got my pumpkins out on my porch. The leaves finally started to really like hit peak. So I have that. And I think I want these to be alternate so that it's not. And then I have one bonus for maybe for like a filler card. And then, so I have these, I'm gonna cut these out. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have 2 extra spots. So I will need to pull some filler cards out. I could either make them from this kit or I could create or find some in my stash, or I could create something. I'm gonna go ahead and cut these out on fast forward and then pop back on here and kind of decide what I'm gonna do next. Okay, so I cut all of those out. As you can see, I still need a title card. I need 2 filler cards. I need some sort of backing for these. And then I need to do my journaling and embellishing. I love that this looks like a grid. I'm thinking these 2 will be my filler cards, but I might shift things around so it doesn't look so like balanced. I was thinking maybe I'll put this one down here and put a filler here. Actually, I kind of like that. So maybe I'll do that. Originally I was thinking I wanted to do some like mixed media papers that were going to be like a black and white behind these, but there's really not that much showing and I'm kind of just not feeling like doing that right now. And I really want to use more of this kit. So I'm thinking I'm going to pull some papers from the kit. I'm going to maybe use these to create like my title card and some of my filler cards or some of these products. And then I'm probably gonna get maybe some other pattern paper from my stash that has a black and white base or gray to go behind these. So I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys back on fast forward and get the rest of the spread put together. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is trim down my pattern papers. So I like to have a base in each pocket before I go ahead and start working on the details. It just helps me to visualize what the completed spread is going to look like. I know not everybody does it this way, but I like to just have everything kind of laid out on top of the pockets. So you can see here I'm cropping down this paper I pulled from my stash that is going to go behind these speech bubbles that I cut out of the 12 by 12 paper in the kit. And I just have pretty much every other pocket is alternating a photo and a speech bubble. I do have three empty pockets. The first one, I'm cropping down this pattern paper from the kit that I absolutely love, that I'm going to use as my title card. And then I'm cropping down this, I go through and I decided to use this pattern paper from the kit, but I knew I wanted to use another one. And I pulled 2 cards from that to make some filler cards. And I decided to use some of the vellum pieces from the kit to add on top of those cards. I had originally considered doing a bit more with them, but I decided the spread looked kind of busy with all the photos and the speech bubbles, so I decided to make those filler cards very simple. I had also considered looking in my stash for some filler cards that I could pull. Definitely, if I want to use up some of my stash, I could have done that, but I decided to use this kit instead. For my title card, I am punching out one of these circles, and I had realized that my punch wasn't actually the right size, so I'm just cutting it out with scissors. One of the circles from the 12 by 12 pattern paper, and pairing that with one of the longer labels to make a title card. But I decided that I didn't love how it looked without, just on top of that black, it was like black on black. So I took the vellum piece, and I know it had words on it, but I just covered them up and used it as a base for my circle just to make it pop a little bit from that background. And I love how that turned out. I trimmed the label in half so that, well, not exact half, so they'd be uneven, so that my dates could go on each line. And then here's a rolling date stamp. So I purchased a new rolling date stamp because my last one ends at 2023. So this is my new one, and it is so big. I didn't realize it was going to be that big. So I'm going to go ahead and probably order a smaller one, but I like having this option of a larger date stamp in my stash. Next, I'm going to work on stamping out my titles. So what I decided to do, I'm going into my stamp organization, which I will link that up at the eye for you. But what I decided to do was just stamp out something on each of the speech bubbles. So these speech bubbles go each day of the week, and I wanted to use an alpha stamp set, and I had one on my desk there, but I had used that one frequently. If you've watched my latest Project Life videos, I actually did large stamping on like story cards like this in the last 3 spreads. This is the 3rd in the row that I do that, and I don't know, you guys, that's just my style. I like it, and I'm not really going to apologize for it, but I had decided I wanted to switch up the font I was using. So I did go into my stash and pull out this alpha stamp set that was from Ali Edwards and decide to use this one instead. Then I'm pulling over all of my cards, and I had written there on the sticky note what I wanted to say for each day. And I'm just working on stamping them a little at a time. I am going to go speed it up a little faster because I am just doing repeated stamping. This takes a little while to do. I do stamp 1 letter at a time because you have way more control that way. But I don't mind that it takes a while because I just typically put on a show or watch YouTube and enjoy the process. And I have my sticky note there for reference, which helps me make sure that I'm not accidentally misspelling something. While I'm doing the stamping, I just wanted to let you guys know that my YouTube schedule is going to be a little bit off this month because of December Daily. I'm going to be posting a little more frequently, but not on the same regular days that you guys might be used to, which is Wednesday and Sunday. I am trying to post a little bit more. It was a little bit difficult to coordinate how to keep up with all of the things that I want to share while also sharing December Daily. So what I'm doing is I'm lumping my December Daily process videos into a few days at a time, and I am sharing those here. And because of that, I probably will not be sharing a Project Life spread every single week this month, but I will be sharing at least one more, and probably some other content that is not December Daily related. So if you're not super into December Daily, I do have other videos coming as well. And then I will be back with a regular schedule in January. I plan to have a kind of what to expect video early in January that will let you know kind of my plans for the next year. I have some new ideas for my channel and some things that I do want to continue. I do also want to say that I do plan to continue doing Project Life weekly in 2024, but I will share more about that in a future video. Okay, just getting back into what I'm working on here. So I'm adhering these down onto their background pieces and working on my journaling.
I do have quite a bit of journaling this week simply because I have all of these cards for every single day. Now, I don't typically tell the story of every single day in my project life, and I'm not going to do that here either because there's just not something that interesting that's going on every single day. Some of the days for sure had some interesting stuff happening, and so I did tell that story. But some of them I didn't really have a ton to say. So like, for example, on Monday, I'm just journaling about generally how it is perfect fall weather this week and it is soup weather. And then I did make soup on Monday, so I was able to tie it into Monday that way. It does really help that I have my Hobonichi cousin because that is where I am writing down all of the things that I use as reference. I write them down during the week itself, and then I have that to reference when I am working on my Project Life spread. Pumpkin is checking out what I was doing here, so sorry if he messed up the focus, but it's kind of fun that he's just walking through. Then I'm going and working on some of these embellishments. So the kit came with these large chipboard phrases that I love. And so I pulled a few of them. I think I used 3 and put them onto 3 separate photos on the spread. And I just wanted to have it repeated on a few of the photos so that it would tie it together cohesively. Some of these strips had phrases on them, and I decided to trim a couple of them down and use them as embellishments. I think I did that on 2 of the photos, and I just turned them into kind of like a longer word phrase strip rather than the long strips that they were in the kit, simply because they were too long to fit on a 3x4 card. I had also pulled over these heart stickers from my stash just to have something else to kind of layer, and a washi tape from Everyday Explorers Co. So I used the washi tape and the phrases from the kit and the large words, my tiny attacher, and these heart stickers, and I just kind of alternated between whichever ones went in each cluster. So some of the clusters have a washi piece and a sticker. Some of them have a strip and a washi piece. You get the idea. So that's pretty much how I do my clusters on all of these spreads. I pick maybe like 3 or 4 elements, and then I repeat them or do a variation on them on various cards to kind of have a cohesive spread. I have been using washi tape a lot more lately. I've been picking up a lot of washi tape lately, probably because of all of my journaling. Washi tape just is one of my go-to supplies these days. So I'm really loving that I found this opportunity to pull it into my project life. Now I'm moving back to doing some more journaling. I had taken a break from the journaling to work on the embellishing and just kind of going back and forth so that my hand doesn't cramp and just to keep it more interesting and fun as I work across the spread. But there's not really any rhyme or reason as to the order that I'm doing this. But back to my journaling, like I said, I'm getting some ideas from my Hobonichi cousin. On my weekly spreads in my Hobonichi cousin, I write down generally what happened each day, and that is what I use as a reference when working on this project. Later this month, I intend to share another video about getting started with Project Life. If any of you are thinking about approaching this project, or even if you are thinking of continuing it and want some tips, I am working on that video and hope to have it shared soon this month. If you do have any questions regarding Project Life that you would like me to address in that video, please feel free to leave them down below as a comment so that I am able to address all of your questions and concerns in one place. I did make a mistake and have to write it out there, but that's fine. So on Saturday, I just wrote typical weekend day, and I'm just writing about like generally what I do on the weekends and kind of made a list of all of the things that I did on Saturday because it was just a typical weekend day. I ran errands, I did some crafting, I did some chores, I relaxed, I had dinner at home. So I just wrote it from that frame of this is what my typical weekend day looks like right now. And I know a lot of people say with Project Life, oh, why doesn't it get so repetitive? Why do you want to document these mundane details? And that's because life changes. It doesn't change on a day-to-day basis, but it does change year to year. And if you look at my Project Life spread from 5 years ago, it would be totally different from what I'm doing these days. So I do like having this record, and it's fun. So I'm just going ahead and slipping everything into the pockets. I think I'm pretty much done with this spread. I did have to trim a couple of the cards down to fit because these were pattern papers that I had trimmed myself initially to get them to fit into the pocket. So they weren't necessarily exactly 3x4. You can see that there's another one right there that I have to trim down. So this is a look at that completed spread. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.